Facebook at Salam Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Winning Women Show with me, Iram Shah. This is a show that brings to you real women in business who share their own stories to success to help inspire you and draw lessons for your business and personal life. On today's show, I'm speaking to an award-winning self-build property entrepreneur, Jennifer Jane Law, someone who has succeeded in daring to dream big and build her own house from scratch. So do join in, get involved by calling us and by texting us. I'll send those numbers in just a moment. So welcome to the Winning Women Show. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. Hello.
Hi, Iram. How are you?
Yeah, really good, Jennifer. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for asking me on.
No problem, Jennifer. We're pretending we don't know each other, but Jennifer and I do go way back. So so you'll hear us, a really good rapport between the two of us. We're really good friends. But Jennifer, let's start by telling the audience what sparked the idea for you to build your own home from scratch.
Oh, that is a great question. And to be honest, I've always wanted to build my own home since I was a child. It's something which I just wanted to create my own place, my own little haven, if you like. And I spent a gap year in Switzerland just before university, where I lived in a very traditional log chalet, and that's what sparked my idea for wanting to have a wooden house. I just fell in love with the wooden structure and how sort of close it was to nature. Yeah. And so, yeah, it went from there, to be honest.
How lovely. And how long ago was that?
That was in, oh God, I'm going to feel old. That was in 2004. So it's been a long time coming. It's just, I guess, trying to get everything to line up, finding the right location, and then just taking the leap to do it.
And did you just park that idea? So when it first came to you, did you just park the idea and thought, right, this is just a dream? Or is it something that you felt as if you could pursue later in as the years went by?
I think I knew in the longer run I was definitely going to do it. However, I had no idea how to do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I parked it for a long time until sort of around 2016, 2017, I started to think about, okay, how was I actually going to achieve this? How was it going to be possible?
And how did the use of a vision board help bring your dream to reality? I know this is something you've been using a lot during your journey to your self-build project. Yeah,
I'm not naturally a very creative person. So having a vision board, I think, just helped me to... By the way, a lot of the images came off Pinterest. A bit of Pinterest.
They always do.
And I was just... Yeah, exactly. And I was just looking for structures that I really loved and that really resonated with me. And I think having that vision board just helps to keep you on track and reminds you visually day to day of where you're going. Otherwise, it's so easy to get bogged down in the detail and the chaos of everyday life. I just think having it there visually keeps you on track, and people have achieved incredible things using vision boards.
Yes. Now, Jennifer, a lot of our friends, we've got a new audience as well. The show is based here in Peterborough. It's streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So listeners, you can comment below. The show's theme today is dreaming big, bringing your dreams to reality. And that's exactly what Jennifer has done by building her own house from scratch. You can get involved in the show by texting us on 07411191062, or you can call in on 01733 602 133. If you're local to Peterborough, you should be able to pick this up on your radio. Do give us a shout. Tell us what you give us a like, comment below on the videos if you can. So just taking a step backwards, Jennifer, you and I have shared the same property network. We've grown our respective businesses, mine's being helping people buy and sell homes. Your initial journey was very similar. What was your thought process as you were navigating through different ideas before settling in this self-build space?
Oh, I've been around the houses.
I know.
No pun intended. I think we've both had a similar approach on on property. So I've got a self-build group that I'm building at the moment, and that's very much my focus. But I think when I started in property initially, I thought, oh, the way to invest in property, the only way to do it is through buy-to-let. That's literally, I just thought that was it. That was the only strategy. You save up for years and years and years to buy one, and then you go again. And I had a close friend of mine, Lucy Ingram, who shared a post that I saw where it actually talked about another creative strategy that meant you didn't have to save for however many years to be able to get a property, and there was more out there than just buy-to-let. And that really opened my eyes up to sort of the art of the possible.
Yeah.
And similar to...
No, go on, please.
Sorry, go on, Iram.
No, go on, please.
I was saying similar to you. I then I signed up with a property mentor to help keep me on track and actually to teach me more about these creative strategies.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time has been spent figuring out what I don't enjoy and then actually narrowing it down to, what I feel passionate about or what I can resonate with and look at doing in the long term.
Yeah. And Jennifer, also, this is very normal as well. So when you get into entrepreneur life, you will find yourself sort of navigating, trying to find, what it is that you really, resonate with and what you're passionate about. And it's a journey in itself, isn't it? You'll probably spend lots of money. You'll probably speak to lots of different people. Would you agree? You've had a similar process?
Oh. Definitely.
Yeah.
And everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong for anyone, in all honesty. And I've spent money on training courses, some great courses, some awful courses, but definitely all of it builds up your experience and helps you work out where you want to go. I find there's a lot of pressure in everything in life, you should know what you want to do. When you leave school, you should know what you want to do. When you finish university, you should know what you want to do. With property, when you get started, you should know exactly the strategy that you want to do and stick with it. And I just totally disagree with that. I think, as you found as well, as you go through that journey, you figure out what works for you, and that's okay to change strategies and test out different things.
Yeah, and Jennifer, you've not always been in this space. You've had a full-time job, been employed as well. So what is it that how does that transition? Why did you decide to come into and work as an entrepreneur? And I don't know if is this something you're doing alongside working still? Yeah,
it is. So I've got 4 days a week that I do as a day job in procurement, so in contracting, specifically within the public sector, something I fell into, very much not my passion. And then, I run my entrepreneurial businesses alongside, which is quite tricky. I've always had a passion to be entrepreneurial, though.
Right.
Since I was younger, I've tried some ridiculous business ideas. I'm sure any other entrepreneurs will be able to resonate with that. But I've tried all sorts of things, lots and lots of ideas that haven't worked.
Oh,
haven't
right.
gone anywhere.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, actually, because I haven't. I've literally just, a crisis just came, and then I just thought, the last 5 years is actually last 2 years I've been, on an entrepreneur journey. Otherwise, I've been quite comfortable just being employed, because that also brings a lot of comfort and security, and that's a hard thing, isn't it? That's why I was asking, what was the mindset like when you went from being employed to doing things more independently as an entrepreneur?
So I've always had that mindset, and the way I guess I keep focused on it, which hopefully answers the question, is my long-term plan is to create financial stability for myself and my family, and to be able to have freedom of time. That's literally my driving force. I just want to have freedom of time. Our life is so short. There's so many great experiences out there, and I hate the concept that Monday to Friday 9 till 5 I'm tied to my desk doing something that is not building a future for me and my family. It's just personally how I feel about it. So the way I keep on track and the way I've always thought about it is aiming towards that vision of working for myself. So I'm not saying I don't want to work, but it's building something for you and being in charge of your day and being able to be flexible.
Yes, and so when you say freedom of time, it's doing things on your term, picking and choosing the times that you want to work and don't want to work.
Yes, exactly. And being able to, make the most of opportunities that come up. There are so many things that come up during the working week, and if for most people, you can't get the annual leave, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, having flexibility of time for me.
Fantastic. And to give the listeners a little bit of a perspective, can you tell us briefly about what exactly did you build, the size of it, and what you had converted it from?
Okay, so I converted an old agricultural barn. So it's actually an old hay barn, and that's been converted into a timber framed 4-bed property. I've got some pictures on my socials if anybody would like to have a look. I'm pretty chuffed with what we built. We had a fantastic building team that specialised in bespoke and traditional builds. They really were the perfect fit for this project. It's approximately, I think we're around 145 square metres, 150 square metres.
Wow.
Including the upstairs, downstairs. And there's still outside on the rest of the site, we've still got some landscaping work to do. But it's one of those things, they get left to the last minute. The house was the main focus.
And what skills did you identify at the beginning of the project that you had to bring your dream to fruition?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to be arrogant here at all, but I'm just trying to be open. So I consider myself to be very resourceful. I'm not great at taking no for an answer, and I'm very organised. I like keeping things on track. So I think that's what I brought to the build, was the ability to keep us on track despite some huge challenges. For example, one of them was that due to COVID and the lockdown happening, we actually lost our self-build mortgage. We had, as I'm sure anyone can imagine as well, during that lockdown period, we had a lot of supply chain issues. We had issues just trying to keep our building team, running, making sure everyone was healthy, that we kept on track. It was just, we had a lot of challenges. I think being organised and being able to be resourceful and look for ways to solve problems and not accepting no is crucial when doing a project of that scale and something that's got quite a significant financial investment involved.
Yeah, and you did this over 2 years, is that correct?
So the total from start to finish, so sort of concept, if you like, to us actually living in the property was actually 3 years in total. The build itself, though, took around 11 months of intensive. That's when, builders stepped on site. And we actually had a really intensive period of about 11 months with us and the team being on site.
Nice. And some of the professionals that you brought in, drafted in for help, were builders. You mentioned the self-build specialist. No, the new build specialist. Who else did you have?
So we had a planning consultant that I brought on at the beginning, just because if anyone's aware of our planning system in the UK, it's so confusing. I had a planning consultant, builders, structural engineers, architect, building regulations officer, roofing specialist. We had to have, obviously, plumbers, electricians. The list just goes, there's a lot of individuals and a lot of members of the team to try and organise.
Wow. And you did all of it. And listeners, this is just so amazing because Jennifer, I'm right in thinking that you've never done this before. You've never built a house from scratch like this before. So this was your first self-build project. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. It definitely was eye-opening.
And so during those years of building your own house, what were some of the sacrifices that you made as, on a personal front and also as an entrepreneur?
I guess the biggest sacrifice, I wouldn't say it was a sacrifice because I do it again, but it was time. This project consumed, we lived on site, so it consumed pretty much every waking hour possible. We were fortunate in a sense, and I'm a little bit hesitant to say that, but because of the lockdown, actually, we did it. There wasn't anything else. We weren't distracted or have any other events we were missing. We could very much focus on it. But I think it's time and energy. But I don't consider it a sacrifice because it was totally worth it, to be honest.
Oh, so you actually this project happened during lockdown. You started.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. And you managed to get the builders, everybody was available.
Yeah, so this project had been booked in for a couple of years,
Right.
and we did have some massive delays. We were due to start in May 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and actually the builders weren't able to get on site until the September. So we did have a lot of issues. However, it was scheduled in. People knew that it was happening, and I was pretty adamant that we weren't going to let it slip anymore. We'd sold a property, sort of our own residential home, to help get this partly funded, and just the way the timelines fell, it just, we have to carry on.
Right. That's brilliant. So that's what kept you busy during lockdown. Just reminding just reminding the listeners. So if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, the live streams, you can comment below, ask any questions. The theme today is daring to dream big, making your dreams come to reality, and that's exactly what our guest today, Jennifer, has done. She has built a house from scratch. You can call in on 01733 602 133, or you can text us on 074 1119 1062 with any questions. What were some of the advantages of living on site?
Oh, there were, to be honest, huge advantages, because our actual plans for the project, we had kept fairly flexible, so we hadn't gone into a huge amount of detail, which I think for some people could be a disadvantage, but for us it really worked in our favour, because it meant we were able to make a lot more decisions day to day as the build went along. It meant that, when any of the team had questions, we could straight away be there and get things resolved, which really helped to keep the project on track. We were also there for security on site. There's a lot of materials and tools that are left on site overnight, and it meant we didn't need to worry too much about additional security systems, because we were literally living there.
Mm-hmm.
Also for things such as accepting deliveries, with the lockdowns, deliveries were all over the place. And it just meant we were there on site, so evenings and weekends we could accept deliveries, whereas if there was nobody there to sign for them, the chances are they'd have to wait till the next working day. And also, being honest, from a financial perspective, we weren't paying money anyway to rent a property. And actually, during that lockdown period, as a lot of you will remember, we couldn't have even gone to go and see any properties. We couldn't have rented anywhere at the beginning, even if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, it helped with that, to be honest, as well. And it meant that we could work on site in evenings and weekends and do additional jobs. We could tidy up after the builders, which saved them time during the day. So, yeah, there were many advantages to living on site. And I know it's not for everybody, but it was worth it for us.
Yeah, and also you had totally immersed yourself in your dream and watched it come to reality as well.
Yeah, exactly. Literally seeing it, come to life every single day. And it also meant that we built really close relationships with our build team and all the other team members. And I think that goes a long way, because I'm actually looking now for more projects, and I'm going to work with exactly the same team. Like, we've got a really close relationship now. And I'm not sure it would have been like that if we, just turned up once or twice a week to have a look and see what was going on.
Yeah. Now, at the back of your self-build project, you also got some huge recognition in the form of an award for your self-build, making you an award-winning self-builder. Tell us a little bit more about this award.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it was a surprise, actually. I wasn't aware of it. So I got an email from our county's building control department, and they've said that we'd been nominated for an award, and I was like, oh wow, fantastic. And then didn't hear anything, didn't think any more of it. And then last month we had an email through to say we'd actually won a best in class award, and so that award goes out to the builders, the architects, everybody that's involved.
Oh, does it? Right.
Yeah, it does. And it's just, I think it's just cherry on the top, isn't it, to have it, for it to be recognised in our county of Devon as a best-in-class barn conversion. Is just a real accolade for everybody everybody that worked on the project.
Yeah, and it gives huge credibility to to you, especially as you've said earlier that you're seeking investors to work on with further projects as well.
Yeah, it does, and I'm really pleased. It inspires me now, actually, for if we do another barn conversion, which I'm actively looking for, but to build for somebody else. Yeah, it gives us a lot of inspiration for that as well.
Yeah, and some of the way you're giving so much value as well to your followers and aspiring self-builders are you're offering free masterclasses, free downloads. You've got a Facebook community where you can connect like-minded people. Tell us more about the things that you've offered.
Okay, so I created as you said, a free Facebook group called the Self Build Academy, because I realised as I went through this journey, it's actually really hard to find resources about how to self-build in the UK. There's so many different, there's so much red tape around it. There's so many different rules and regulations that you need to know about. And I haven't personally found a central resource where I could get an answer to all my questions. So that's what I'm working on building now, is I want to help educate aspiring self-builders in the UK on how to build their own dream house, and I want to try and keep it as straightforward as possible and provide them with steps and bring in experts that they can ask questions to, and just try and help simplify the process, because for me personally I found it so stressful and challenging, and it felt like there was new challenges every week about things that I've never even heard of. So actually I want to try and pass on my experience and help other people so it's a smoother process for them.
Yeah, and Jennifer, you've also held free masterclasses as well on various topics. Just talk us through those.
Yeah, so one of them, which I'm going to run again actually, was a masterclass talking about self-build mortgages, and I've got a self-build mortgage broker who I work with who actually came on and we co-hosted that webinar. Because again, it's just nowhere else would you get the ability to actually listen to a specialist talking about how to get the mortgage, because it's quite different to a standard property mortgage, and then be able to ask them questions. So that's one that went down really well. I'm going to run that again. And the next one I've got coming up, for people that want to sort of nerd out about this, is in the UK as of this month we've got new building regulations which will affect all builds. Whether you're a self-builder or not. And I'm actually going to bring on a building regulations specialist to come on and talk through those regulations and show how it will impact self-builders and the considerations they need to have at this stage.
Really useful things. So that's for anybody, whether you're self-building, or whether you're just, even taking on a project yourself, your own refurbishment, etc. This will be so useful to know what the new regulations are. And you've also got some free downloads as well, some documents as well. Talk us through those, Jennifer.
Yeah, so at the moment I've got a checklist, a sort of an introductory checklist of, okay, so you want to self-build, what do you need to think about? And I break it down into the different stages, and I'm more than happy to send that out to free to whoever wants that. That's a self-build checklist. And I'm also at the moment working on a template spreadsheet of how to keep track of the spend on the bill, so to keep track of the finances, because that's a really, really important element, especially now. Building costs and labour costs are constantly increasing, and it's something, if you've got a budget for the project, I'm sure we've all seen grand designs, right?
Yeah.
Where these projects go overspend time and time again. So I'm just finishing building out a tracker which will help you to actually see where you are, whether you're on budget and any areas of concern. I've got some other templates that are coming out, but I don't want to release what they are just yet until I finalise them.
Yeah.
And then, I can let you know what they're going to be.
Yeah, and also, Jennifer, you're catering to the community that you've created. You're responding to their requirements as and when they tell you they need something. You're providing that value and that information in the form of a masterclass or download. I can't say the word. Downloadable. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So in the Facebook group I've got at the moment, people are encouraged to ask questions, and then I either run masterclass on the back of it, as you said, or what I'm also doing at the minute is working on bringing in specialists into the group who can provide answers to those questions, because I'm aware, do you know, like I've done one self-build. I'm by no means an expert. Yes, I'm ahead of, you know, some people in their journey, but also I see myself as a facilitator, and I want to bring in the right people who have got good reputations that can help self-builders. So that's also what I'm looking to do with this group.
Brilliant. So we're going to go for a short break very soon, and when we come back, so far what we've talked about how Jennifer has started her founder story. We've talked about dreaming big and just taking that vision forward with the form of vision boards, the right people around you, immersing yourself in that dream by living on site. Not something, Jennifer, you're recommending everyone to do, but that's certainly what Jennifer did, and this is why she's a winning woman, really inspiring, and somebody I've been following. Actually, I've seen you progress from not having this self-build project and then seeing it come to fruition. So it's a huge honor to have you on today. We've also talked about some of the complications that she came across, some of the challenges.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Yep.
Gurbani. It is the greatest sacrifice, a sacrifice that you feel, something of value that you part with, enough to draw you closer to Allah. It is the joy and hope of those in need, the essence of your faith, and your submission to Allah. This year, offer the greatest sacrifice with Muslim hands from £35 to £245. To order now, visit muslimhands.org.uk.
मार फूड स्टोर लिंकन रोड ट्रायंगल ते इन्ना रश ओ बल्ले ओए तुसा नी अंबा ने पूरे मुल्क विच रोले
पाकिस्तानी सौगातां जी अंब ले लो जामनू ले लो पाकिस्तानी ताजे मिठे अंब ते जामनू आ गए जी
यकीन करो जी भाई ना मार फूड स्टोर वाले किन्ने बरियां तो सानू पाकिस्तान तो अपनी ब्रांड दा अंब मंगवा के पूरे यूके नु नश लवांदे आ ते हुन पाकिस्तानी जामनू भी भाई ओ जने ने आ पुत्र
Amar Food Stores, Al Mashu, fresh halal meat and groceries. Address 613B Lincoln Road, Triangle, Peterborough. Telephone 01733 687374. Amar Food Stores, Meyar ka naam, Munasib Daam.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
हाँ जी जनाब आज तुसने किया 12 बजे वे
यार फैमिली की बाहर खड़ना चाहना या खिलाने पिलाने से सोचना कुथे जाओ
इस च परेशानी वाली केड़ी गल है इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट पर जाओ उते फ्री पार्क करो उन्होंने मजेदार ते स्वादले पाकिस्तानी इंडियन चाइनीज ते इटालियन आय 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 खाने ना ते जोड़ी कोई नहीं नाले सस्ते ते स्वादले
ए थे रक्स इसका मतलब है बटवा भी नहीं होला होनेगा इब्राहिमी बफे रेस्टोरेंट वैरायटी ऑफ डिलीशियस डिशेस के अलावा जेलाटो आइसक्रीम एंड वॉफल्स भी करते हैं वीकेंड्स पर अपना टेबल बुक करवाइए और वीकडेज तशरीफ ले आइए ओपनिंग आवर्स शाम 5 बजे से रात 10:30 बजे तक इब्राहिमी रेस्टोरेंट 63 Sycamore Avenue Peterborough PE1 4JP टेलीफोन 01733 313131
Are you looking for a career where you can make a difference? At Cross Keys Homes, we work with our local communities to create opportunities that change lives. We're looking for enthusiastic, talented people to join our team, from apprenticeships to senior management positions. Cross Keys Homes can support your development while you enjoy great employee benefits. There are so many opportunities for you to shine. Apply to join the Cross Keys Homes team at crosskeyshomes.co.uk.
inspirational.co.uk.
Hello and welcome back to the Winning Women Show with me, Iram Shah. We have a show that brings to you real women in business who share their own stories to success to help inspire you and draw lessons for your business and personal life. On today's show, we are on the second half of our show and we are speaking to award-winning self-build property entrepreneur Jennifer Jane Law. She is someone who has succeeded in daring to dream big and build her own home from scratch. Welcome back, Jennifer. Hello. Oh, no, it's my phone. Hello. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. Thank you.
Yes. So, Jennifer, we've talked about a little bit more about your self-build project and how you're helping people. I'm just going to remind the listeners how they can get involved. So, if you're listening on the Facebook live stream or the YouTube live stream, you can comment below. If you're listening on your car radio, feel free to call on 01733 602 133. Or you can text us on 074 1119 1062 and ask questions about how Jennifer has dreamt big, how she has brought her dream to reality. Now, some of the things we've talked about is a recognition that you've got. Were there any particular books and podcasts where you were reading that's helped you come to the point that you have?
Oh, okay. One of my favourite books, actually, is by Chris Voss, who's a negotiation, I think he's an ex-FBI agent who specialises in negotiation.
Yeah, I know this
and
book.
It's called, Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
You can't tell my build that I listened to that beforehand, but that is a really good book. Massively recommend for, to be honest, anybody, especially if you're in business. It really opens your mind up, and it's one of those books actually I'd like to listen to again. There's a lot of different techniques in there, and a lot more. You learn a lot about the psychology of the brain. So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. And what were some of the main lessons? What were some of the main lessons that you drew from the book to help you in your entrepreneur life?
Oh, good question. I think what I've learned mainly is about how to manage a negotiation and ensuring that it's a win-win for everybody. And it is not just about what you want and taking from somebody else. It actually needs to work for both parties. And I think sometimes, particularly with entrepreneurs, we can get quite tunnel visioned. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's opened my mind up to, when it came to negotiations, to make sure I considered what the other person was looking for and what they wanted as well. So yeah, I'd say that was the main lesson I learned from that book. Yeah.
And were you listening to, I know you listen to a lot of podcasts as well. What about the type of podcasts you were listening to?
Well, I'm a big fan of Stephen Bartlett and the Diary of a CEO podcast. Mm-hmm. I really love listening to his guests. He gets some really quality speakers on there. So if you haven't listened to that, I definitely recommend.
Yes, I'm actually seeing him in person later in the year, actually. So I'll share
Me
that. Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. And Jennifer, when things got tough, what was it that inspired you to keep pushing at your dreams when things got tough? What did you do?
I remember actually the exact moment when not only had we lost our self-build mortgage funding, but the first couple of other alternative routes I had to secure the funding to complete the build fell through. And I can literally remember the moment I was sat in my bed in the caravan with very, very cold, wet evening, and I was just totally out of ideas, out of options. Mm-hmm. I remember my husband came in and just said to me, "You will figure this out. Don't worry. You just need to take some time to figure it out." But I guess for me, in the back of my mind, despite having that moment of despair, I knew we were going to finish. But there was no way we were going to stop now. We couldn't stop now. We had so much invested in this project, and we also had a team of builders, all with families. At this point, we were not too far off from Christmas. There was no way we could pull the plug on this project. Absolutely no way at all. So I think it's just looking deep inside you and having some belief that you can make this happen. It's on you. You have to find a way.
Yeah. And on a personal front, what has pulling an amazing project like this done for you for your personality?
I think I've got more self-belief now about what I can achieve. I still have to pinch myself to believe that I did this. We built this house. Not only did we build the house, we built it using private investor funding due to lockdown. I think it's just having self-belief that I can achieve things. You just have to keep going, even if perhaps, during the process you don't 100% believe you can do it. Just keep taking the action steps, just keep doing it. And then at the end, you can reflect on what you've achieved. So I think, just having confidence in my own ability.
Definitely. And actually, something you mentioned earlier, when people do come into property, you may come in thinking that there is one particular way to get involved, which is just buy and rent your property out. But actually, you have found that your strategy, it can bring income to people who want to get into property in a very different way. Can you explain that?
Yeah, of course. Are you referring to investing?
Yes, yeah. So if somebody wants to get into property, but is probably considering something a little bit more creative, something a little bit different. You've used investor funds, haven't you, to provide a form of income as well?
Yeah, I have actually. So I guess there's two parts to this. I used investor funds to actually fund the build. So we had 4 or 5 private investors that came on board, and they actually lent us the funds. They had some security on that money, and then at the end they received some interest back for that. And as well as that, for one of the individuals in particular, I actually kept them up to date with what was going on in the journey and shared my learnings as well, because they've got an interest in self-build.
Right.
So that was really useful for them. Then the second part of it is I've also got a little tiny house, which we have as a holiday let, and that was actually funded using private investor funds again. So that individual, they wanted to get involved, they had some money but didn't have the time to do it themselves, and so actually they helped us to fund the build of the holiday let, and I took them through that process as well, so they learned literally how we built it and then how we listed it, and at the time also how we managed it. So
Yeah,
I hope that answers that question.
yes, yeah, exactly. So somebody listening in might think, okay, they may not want to get their hands dirty into property. They're just happy doing the job that they are doing, but they've got some money to invest, and so this is so we're just sharing some of the ways that Jennifer has used ordinary people's money to not only give them a form of income, but to help her build her dream home as well. So like a win-win situation. And then you've also mentioned you could do it on a sort of earn and learn basis as well, which is fantastic for somebody who likes to really just get quite practical and doesn't sit very well maybe in a theoretical class and just want to do something out in the field. This is a really good way, isn't it?
Definitely. I think you learn so much more when you're actually learning from a real life project. There's only so much, right? It's like at school or uni, there's only so much you can learn in the classroom, but when you get out there and you're actually involved, whatever degree that might be, you do learn a lot more. It's definitely a really interesting concept, I think, for people that want to get into property but perhaps just feel overwhelmed. They don't know where they want to begin, but they've got some money perhaps. I would definitely recommend looking at what earn and learn opportunities are out there for you.
Yeah, and Jennifer, you've mentioned alongside your self-build project, you've also got a business of, I'm going to call it quite a quirky little holiday home in the most loveliest part of the UK, which I've not actually been to, Devon. Describe this little house and how a holiday house, isn't it, for people who want to travel to that part of the world?
Yeah, it is. Oh, thank you for mentioning this. It's so sweet. So it's a little tiny house. We made it specifically. It's only for couples. And we've actually got a honeymoon couple coming next weekend, which I'm
really
so excited.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've got some really sweet decorations. They'll have some champagne.
Yeah.
They've got a hot tub. yeah, we focus on providing a very romantic, rural, quiet experience. There's nothing else around. We're just looking out into fields. It's really private. So for anybody that wants to get away from life's chaos and the hustle and bustle, it's just a perfect opportunity. But you have got your home comfort. So you're not out in a tent in the wilderness. You've got a lovely, comfortable bed, a full kitchen. But yeah, I'm really proud of that, actually. It's somewhere I would want to stay. If I was going to go away and want to go somewhere quiet. But yeah, you'll have to definitely come down and stay in it. You'd love it.
Thank you. And you must go on to Jennifer's socials as well and have a look at this quirky, the little tiny house. Blue in colour, is that correct?
Yeah, well, it's green and grey. I know there's probably doesn't come out that well on that picture, but yeah, green and grey. So yeah, do have a look. It's called the Tiny House Devon.
Yeah, and there's a really cute hot tub outside as well. So nice summer days coming for that. So how can people get in touch with you, Jennifer, and even see the new build project? You must see the new build project. It is you've created a whole journey, haven't you, of how it would from the barn all the way to what you've got now, the most beautiful house.
Thank you. Yes, I have. And I do actually plan to probably put a video together compiling all of the footage I've got over that time span so people can actually see the transformation, and I'll probably put into the video the different steps and what was going on in the background. So to get in touch, I am on social media, Jennifer Jane Law, across all of my social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook or LinkedIn. So I recommend, if you've got any questions, perhaps you want to self-build and don't know how, please feel free to just drop me a message. More than happy to jump on a call with anybody and have a chat about it. As you can tell, it's quite a personal passion of mine. So yeah, really open to any questions.
Exactly. And outside of property, Jennifer, you do, you've got a passion for horses and various country pursuits. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm a very keen equestrian, and that's, to be honest, one of the reasons I want flexibility of time as well, is to get out and ride more. But yeah, for me, my passion is getting out in nature. I find it very therapeutic. I think as an entrepreneur, it's always go, go, go. There's so many different considerations. You always feel like you're never completing your to-do list, and there's more and more pressure. And for me personally, I just find getting out in nature, whether it's walking or running or riding, whatever, just gives me that brain space where actually you can just stop thinking about all of your business tasks for the moment and actually just enjoy being there in that specific moment, appreciating nature. So yeah, for me, I just find it quite therapeutic in a way to relax.
Yeah, there's so many different things that you can get in touch with Jennifer about if you've got, all these things that are in common, self-build projects, just being an entrepreneur, how to juggle in life, being employed, and and working independently as you are, and just working towards your dream, because you're still very much in the process, aren't you, of doing that, so that you can do the things that you love. And you've mentioned that all the outdoorsy kayaking, and you do a lot of things out in the water as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do, and I've just I'm really excited actually. I've just taken on a new project which may seem a little bit crazy, but I've been asked to help assist with managing the delivery process for 17 custom and self-build plots in Devon. So yeah, which I'm really excited about, which at the moment is going to be balanced alongside my day job. But my plan with it is to gain experience, help other people that want to self and custom build, and also to build credibility and be able to share what I'm learning, share all that knowledge back into my Self-Build Academy community. So yeah, it's just constantly developing, isn't it? Constantly pushing yourself forward towards what you want to achieve.
Exactly. So listeners, if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, you can comment live on the live stream. Sometimes we get comments later, so I can come back to those as well. If you're listening on your car radio, feel free to call in on 01733 602 133, or you can text us on 07411 0191062 if you've got any questions on how to make your dreams come true. Jennifer is the winning woman for today. She has brought her dream to life in the form of a new house by converting a barn. Jennifer, also, what's your advice to someone dreaming big in anything? Because there are so many fears, aren't there? I mean, we dream big, and then we have all these fears that come in. And what would you advise people?
Okay, so this is a big topic, isn't it? But I would say pretty much anything you want to do is possible. You can do it, but you have to be very, very careful about who you surround yourself with and who you let yourself be influenced by, because it really has an impact on your subconscious brain and your ability to believe whether you can do it. So I would say, whatever your dream is, go and find a community around that topic or industry, whatever it could be, and a community full of people some people are way in front of you and have already achieved what you want. Some people are behind you and just starting, and some people are there right with you now on your journey. And immerse yourself in that community, a community full of people that are actually heading in the same direction. That's going to have a huge impact. When you see other people achieving what you want to achieve, you know you can do it. They're just ordinary people. They can do it. You can do it. So that would be my biggest, my biggest piece of advice. I would say is to be very careful who you're around.
Yes.
For me, that's made a big difference. Like, I'm part of a couple of very positive property communities, and for me personally, that has just opened my eyes up to not only what's possible, but also I've made some fantastic friends and people that are there to support me through the ups and downs and understand what I'm going through on my journey. And so that would be what I would advise to anybody.
Yeah. And Jennifer, that's exactly how we met, because, we've got Jennifer's in the space of self-build. I'm more helping people, especially in Peterborough, buying and selling homes, turning them into good family homes, and helping people invest into the area from the south. So this is something that, I think, it's really true to say, to stay connected with like-minded people that are going to inspire you and push you forward. Today's show has been very much about that as well. The whole ethos behind Winning Women is to bring to you inspiring women trailblazers that are doing something a little bit out of the ordinary, and show you that they're just real people. And when they share their success stories, we want to inspire you. So I hope you're all feeling inspired. And Jennifer, how are you feeling? Are you feeling, feeling yourself? It's been great championing you, showing you to be the expert in your field of work. How are you feeling after today's show?
I feel really excited, and to be honest, so grateful for you asking me to come on and do this. I've really enjoyed it, very grateful, and I just hope that perhaps somebody that listens to this might think, do you know what, I've always wanted to self-build, maybe I can do it. And they then start their journey to actually build their dream property. So thank you so much for this, Iram. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's great. We've still got a few minutes on the show. How about, should we ask, we've got some, I haven't got questions at the moment, but what we could ask Jennifer is, what initial considerations would you tell an aspiring self-builder who's got no experience? What's the first thing you would say that they need to consider?
That is a great question. I think you need to consider, where do you want to live? The majority of people that are going to build their dream home, it's going to be your home for life. So you need to consider the location very carefully. Perhaps that's around your children's schools, your work, your family. Maybe, it's like me, you're into outdoor adventures and want to live somewhere where you're surrounded by them. So think about the location very carefully. Don't rush into that. And the second consideration would be to have a look at how you're planning on funding the project. So is it going to be, are you able to do it yourself? Are you going to need a mortgage? Are you going to need investors? Start having a look at your options and speaking to experts. So a self-build mortgage broker, for example, to just suss that out. And also come and join my free self-build group, because we've got lots and lots of answers to questions in there, and you can get involved with people that are in the same journey as you.
Yeah, and Jennifer, actually, in your house, I mean, there's so many lovely, nooks and crannies that I've loved. What is your favourite part in your house?
It has to be the oak beams.
Wow.
I absolutely love them. They were just a bit of a last-minute addition, but I just absolutely love the character they bring to the property. And I'm going to say a second thing. I know you only asked for one, but it's the amount of glass. Like, I love natural light.
Lovely.
I think quite a lot of properties in the UK are not necessarily built with taking into account natural daylight, especially, I work from home a lot of the time, as I'm sure a few of the other listeners do, and just having a lot of natural light is so healthy for you. So for me, daylight and the oak beams are my personal favourite things.
And have you built it over 2 floors or just the one?
We've got 2 floors, so it's sort of 1.5, because we've got also a big open living space.
So I would really recommend you go online, see the amazing pictures, and I think it's absolutely fabulous just seeing you progress, Jennifer, and seeing you come to this point. Now, some of the do you think what do you think some of the fears might be around? Why don't people consider buying their own house? Converting their house in this way, doing a self-built project.
So complicated here in the UK. Our planning system is pretty complex. The costs involved, finding your own builders, managing the build yourself. I think for a lot of people, the complications and the hassle puts them off, and the cost, the thought of the cost, it puts people off. But actually, it is all doable. You just need to try and get some support, and like you said before as well, have the right team around you that also want to see you achieve your dream.
Yeah, and I think like any dream, Jennifer, it takes, a dream always looks really big, but when we break it down into small steps and, like you say, create those small action steps, something to move us forward every day, so that we can see our dream to reality. But we need to dare to dream in the first place, and this is very much what Jennifer has done.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Don't be afraid. If you really want it, you'll make it work. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and so we've got lots of local entrepreneurs. We've got lots of entrepreneurs that will be listening in, that can reach out to you. Just remind people, how can they find you online?
So across Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram, you can look for me under Jennifer Jane Law, and that's my handle on all of them. I'm not on TikTok. I honestly don't get it yet. I'm sure at some point I'll have to make the jump. But yeah, Facebook, LinkedIn or Instagram, and it's Jennifer Jane Law. So feel free, please, if you've got any questions, you're thinking of self-building, whatever it might be, just feel free to drop me a message and get in touch.
And Jennifer, how social media helped you on your journey to self-build?
Without social media, I don't think we could have done it, in all honesty, because that was predominantly how I found investors to help us complete the build after we lost our mortgage due to our self-build mortgage broker being furloughed. So yeah, without Facebook, I don't know what we would have done. So it's really helped on the investment side. It's also allowed me to document the journey and show people that it's possible for anyone to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So we are coming to an end on our show very soon. I do want to wrap up and just by telling people again that you can reach out to Jennifer. Today's theme has been about daring to dream big, and Jennifer has evidently converted a barn and made it into her first self-build project, and she's now helping others do exactly the same through her various network community groups that she's set up and masterclasses. These are going to be massive, and I love the way that you're responding to the different community needs. And as you said, building prices, materials of being so expensive at the moment, you're creating masterclasses around all these various challenges, aren't you?
I am, yes, I am. So if anyone's got anything specific, they'd like to perhaps have a masterclass on, then just feel free to reach out. And also, if you're an expert in the building space and perhaps you've got an innovative product or service you would like to, to help you, to educate people about, then also feel free to reach out.
Fabulous.
I'm actually looking for people to work with.
Great. Well, it's been lovely having you on, Jennifer. We're coming to an end. We will be with you every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. with a new guest, a new winning women. Really keen to bring on people from Peterborough as well. So if you're an entrepreneur from Peterborough, where this radio show is based, do message me on Salam Radio. You can get onto the Salam Radio Facebook page. You could email us there. You could privately message us there and get in touch. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to bring to you another story, a local story, as well as just winning women all around the country. So this is your host, Iram Shah. Great talking to you, and very much a woman in business myself. So this is very inspiring for me to, speak to other women as well. Take care. Have a really good day, and I think we've got a sunny one. Bye.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Asia Restaurant gives you the unique fusion of flavours from